My name is Camilo Restrepo. I'm a trans man. I've been on hormones for a year. I feel effects I can't manage. I need professional medical help.
Good morning, miss. Your ID, please.
My name is Camilo.
It says here Camila Restrepo.
I'm a trans man. My name is Camilo.
Appointments are made with the document, Miss Camila.
That's all right. Just book it, please. My name is Camilo. I'm a trans man. I need medical supervision. It's my gender identity.
I don't know much about this. I'll refer you to psychology.
My identity isn't a trauma that needs explaining. It's who I am.
He is informed that to access an endocrinologist specialized in gender affirmation, he must go through an ethics committee that's suitability for the process, further delaying his access to the medical care he needs.
I feel stigmatized, invalidated. Every door I knock on leaves me feeling less heard. My well-being is being affected, and I still don't have proper guidance.
Good evening and welcome to our health segment. Today we're covering a very important topic, the barriers that transgender people face when seeking medical care in Colombia. To help us understand this, we have a reporter here in the studio who investigated the case of Camilo, a 20-year-old man. How are you, Anne?
Doing well, thank you. Yes, Camilo's case is very revealing because it shows three major problems that repeat across many health centers in the country.
So tell us, what was the first obstacle that Camilo faced?
The first was discriminatory treatment from the moment he arrived for his appointment. Camilo identifies and presents as a man, but since his legal ID still says Camila, the receptionist kept calling him Miss Camila over and over, ignoring how he presents himself. This is an isolated case. Many trans people avoid going to the doctor, even when they urgently need to, out of the fear of facing this kind of rejection.
So, simply feeling judged is enough to push them away from health services.
Exactly, and that leads to the second problem, the medical staff's lack of technical knowledge. The general practitioner who saw Camilo confused his gender identity with his sexual orientation. He asked things like, "So do you like women now?" which has nothing to do with being a trans person. This shows that many health professionals aren't prepared to handle cases that don't fit the traditional model.
So it's not just an attitude problem, but it's a lack of training.
Yeah, that's right. And that brings us to the third point, which may be the most serious, denial of services. Camilo was made to wait unnecessary to access endocrinology care, and was even told he had to go through an ethics committee to evaluate whether he was suitable for his gender affirmation process.
Well, is that even legal in Colombia?
No, in fact, Colombia's Constitutional Court has already clearly established that no gender dysphoria diagnosis nor approval from any external committee is required for a person to access these health services. Demanding those requirements is, in practice, denying Camilo a right that is already legally protected.
A very concerning picture. Thank you for this investigation.
Thank you. It's important to keep bringing visibility to these cases so the health system can actually change.
Welcome back. In our previous report, we explored the barriers that Camilo faced while trying to access healthcare as a transgender man. But what are the consequences of these barriers? To answer that, our reporter Carolina is back with us to explain how discrimination and denial of care can affect both physical and mental health.
Thank you, Anna. The first consequence was a significant impact on Camilo's mental health. The lack of recognition of his gender identity, the repeated use of his legal name and incorrect pronouns, and the discrimination he experienced can lead to anxiety, depression, worsening gender dysphoria, and lower self-esteem. But the story doesn't end there. Another consequence was the loss of trust in the healthcare system. Because of these barriers and the lack of training professional, Camilo may avoid seeking medical care in the future, increasing the risk of delayed diagnosis and treatment. Finally, these barriers violate his fundamental rights by limiting his access to respectful and comprehensive healthcare. They also increase the risk that Camilo may self-administer hormone therapy without medical supervision, putting his health at risk.
This case shows that barriers in healthcare do much more than delaying appointments. They harm mental health, they put patients' well-being at risk, and violate fundamental rights. Providing respectful and gender-affirming care is not a privilege. It is the responsibility of every healthcare system. And thank you for joining us for this special report.
We've walked through Camilo's history and its impact on his health. Now, what would it take to actually fix this? Our reporter joins us with some concrete answers.
Then, we found several strategies that could make a real difference, several already backed by Colombian law.
Let's start where his history did, the front desk.
Right, first, trained staff, but administrator and clinical, on gender, identify, and sexual orientation, so situations like calling Camilo Miss Camila don't happen again. This is backed by Colombian National Public Policy for LGBTI Equity and Minister of Health guidance.
And his medical record, which still listed his legal name.
That the second point, medical record and scheduling system need to register a patient show's name and use in every interaction. Regarded on legal ID status that supported by Decree on 1227 of 2015.
Now the Ethics Committee, one of the most troubling parts of his case.
Exactly. Third, remove it entirety. Judgment T0C3 of 2015 already established that no diagnosis or outside evaluation is required. The path to endocrinology shall be direct.
And the psychologist who treated his identity as something to explain?
That the fourth point, a shift in approach, psychology should support patients through their process, not search for trauma to explain their identity. They who already removed being trans for the ICD-11 as a mental disorder.
So, what would real change look like for someone like Camilo?
A coordinated pathway where general medicine, endocrinology, psychology, and social work together, so patients don't start from scratch each visit. And in the long time, a reduction gains matter too, since the risk of self-administered or doesn't despair overnight.
A hopeful note to close on.
Camilo's story showed the problem clearly, but the solution already exists. What's missing is implementation.
Thank you, and thank you all for joining this special report on transgender healthcare access in Colombia.
Thank you.